Inside Michigan Football is presented by Meijer.
It's one of the best things in the world. You know, we took their party, made it ours. That's what we were trying to do.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the floor of Camp Randall Stadium here in Madison, Wisconsin. I'm Jim Branstetter along with John Jansen, and we're celebrating a Michigan 38-17 win over Wisconsin. John Jansen, this was an outstanding performance on the road, their first test, Michigan's first test on the road. And really offensively in the first half, it was a trick play that got them started. But after they had pounded and pounded and pounded on offense, they decided to give them a little bit of a hiccup. They did, and Wisconsin bit for it, and it went for a touchdown.
Well, and we had seen Cade McNamara be somewhat inaccurate early on in the first half. And when you're trying to find something to get going, and you're pounding the ball, and Michigan has pounded the ball for 4 games now, we kept asking ourselves, what is the point of this? We finally see it when there's a little flea flicker, and all of a sudden, Cornelius Johnson is running right open. And it was the fact that Cade McNamara had the time, he had the patience to deliver a ball that was on the money, because I really think that set him up for what we saw in the second half.
Now, John, you talk about pounding the ball and pounding the ball and pounding the ball. And sometimes it seems like, what are they getting out of this? But Wisconsin had kept people 23 yards average rushing for the 3 games they had played. And Michigan got over 100. So they proved something that they can run it against a stout rush defense. That, I mean, even though it looked like, God, we were running into a brick wall, it still said something and gave confidence to the running game, didn't it?
Well, it did. And whenever you run, as long as you get plus yardage, it means something. Whether it's to set up something that Josh Gaddis wants to do in the second half or what he wants to do on the next play, you're setting yourself up for something. Or you could also be setting yourself up for something that you want to do against Nebraska, because Nebraska is a very good defense as well. We saw them, a couple of weeks ago play very well against Michigan State. And so we're walking into a very similar situation that these guys now, some of these guys on this team have never played on the road at Michigan in an environment like this. Now they have that in their experience, locker, and they're able to draw from it next week.
And that was one of the questions Michigan had to answer. They did against Wisconsin. The other thing about the first half, the Michigan defense was outstanding. I mean, they basically kept Wisconsin without a first down for most of the first half. They couldn't get out of their own way, and the pressure was what made the difference and forced Wisconsin to be very uncomfortable in their own stadium.
But we knew coming in, Graham Mertz was a player that if you put pressure on him, he's going to make bad decisions. He started out 0-4. Their first 4 drives were 3 and outs, and the last of those 2, they were lost yardage drives, -3, -10 yards. And then they came out, they made some adjustments, and a credit to Michigan of not panicking, but going into halftime and making necessary adjustments, because in the second half, it was something special.
It was all over. Before we get to the second half, despite the fact that they made some plays and made it a 13-10 game at half when Michigan had dominated, the one thing that Wisconsin couldn't do, a team that prides itself, they could not run the ball consistently.
No, and when you look at the rushing statistics, coming in, it was all about Wisconsin and how good the Wisconsin rush defense was. Well, Michigan got over 100 yards rushing. Wisconsin, I believe it was 43 yards. That is a statement, and that's something that this defense will definitely gain confidence from.
Don't go away. When we come back, we'll talk about the second half when Michigan put it away big time.
It's a good feeling to, come to somebody's home and match their energy and smack them and then go back. So, we just came in, handled business, and that's it.
McNamara with a 1st and 10 from the 34. They flea flicker. Back to McNamara. Throwing deep. He's got Johnson in the end zone. Touchdown, Michigan. 34 yards. A little trickery, yes. And the Wolverines connect.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that was crazy. That's a trick play we had in the toolbox, and we wanted to make sure we dug into our bag and took something out of our bag and put that on film.
Us establishing a run. Also, we showed a lot of pistol runs, so for us to mix it up every once in a while, it was great. And CJ ran a hell of a route, and I just put it out in stride for him.
Inside Michigan Football is brought to you in part by Meijer, official sponsor of Michigan Athletics and proud sponsors of local sports teams across the Midwest. And by Gardner White, Detroit's #1 furniture and mattress store. Michigan with 3 down linemen now. They show blitz up the middle. Here comes Josh Ross. He nails Belusi in the backfield.
Big game for us, just know the history and the running team, and kind of just wanted to make an emphasis and stop the run and we just played our game today, not really focusing on them, just focusing on our game, and that's what we did today.
We believe in ourselves, we believe in our coach, we believe in our calls, and we just came out here and executed. And whenever we do that, it's a recipe for good things.
The opening of the second half of this game here in Camp Randall, Michigan, Wisconsin, was a tight one. Michigan had a 13-10 lead. Wisconsin had the momentum because they had come back and gotten back in the game late in the first half. Well, in the first possession of the second half, Wisconsin gets the ball. This is a great scenario for Paul Christ and the Badgers, but the Michigan defense in a 3-down series really stamped the rest of this game by what they did to Graham Mertz and the Wisconsin offense.
Yeah, they put the Rydell right on Graham Mertz and stamped him with it. And what I liked about it was you could see this team show improvement, show confidence. Last week against Rutgers, they go into halftime. They weren't able to make adjustments to handle the read option, and Rutgers came out in the second half, and it was an absolute battle. Today, they come out in the second half, and they put that stamp of dominance on this Wisconsin team. And here's how they did it. In the third down, Josh Ross rushes inside. Aiden Hutchinson rushes outside. And then we talked about him all day long. Daxton Hill and his ability to hit the go button and just get after the quarterback, it was amazing. And I thought he did a good job of managing that hit as well, because the target acquisition, sometimes for young players, they're going to put the crosshairs right on that quarterback, which would mean he gets kicked out of the game. He did a great job of turning his head, making sure that he used his shoulder. It wasn't a dirty hit. It was just a good, hard football play. It's unfortunate that Graham Mertz got hurt, but it did send a message to their team.
It really regained the momentum for Michigan. That 3-play series where the Michigan defense forced the 3-and-out, forced a kick, they get the ball in great field position, then they go down and score and make it a 20-10 game. Boom, just like that. And all of a sudden, momentum, and they regain control. That on the road is tough to do. That's something you learn about a team. They didn't flinch. They did not bat an eye. They said, this is our game. We're going to take it back.
And when you get up, I mentioned this on the broadcast, you get up 7-0 at the beginning. That's a big deal to score first and get up on a team like Wisconsin that has a struggle to score the football, move the football. And then the second half, all of a sudden, you're up 10 points. That's 2 possessions against a team that, other than 1 or 2 drives in the first half, really over the last couple of games, has struggled to find any structure of their offense.
And the other thing that happened in the second half, Michigan got a couple of turnovers. They didn't get touchdowns. They didn't convert those into touchdowns. They got field goals. Moody was spectacular. By the way, the special teams all day was spectacular. Moody kicking out of bounds. Robbins on the punt game. No returns hurt Michigan, but we saw 2 quarterbacks from Michigan come in the game. J.J. McCarthy came in. They used a little run with J.J. McCarthy, and yet Cade McNamara still is the guy. But it gives the defense a little different look when you've got 2 quarterbacks coming in.
Well, and what I liked is that Cade McNamara didn't panic. He didn't see that as a threat. In fact, that's the best half of football I think we've seen him play, and he didn't lose flow of the game. He was still able to come in and deliver the football. But now that you have J.J. McCarthy getting more comfortable in an environment like this, you add another weapon. You add something that it's Nebraska next week, Michigan State later, that they have to spend time at practice working on which quarterback, which situation, and as J.J. McCarthy gets more comfortable, I believe we'll see him more.
And you talk about J.J. McCarthy getting comfortable. He had a great long pass to Dalen Baldwin in this one down the right sideline. And I mean, if you want somebody to throw the long ball, J.J. McCarthy can do that. He's proven it twice to Baldwin. But again, you go back to this game. Ultimately, it's the defense that just absolutely suffocated Wisconsin, and they did it as the game ended. They kept getting turnovers, and they finally put it away.
Yeah, another 1-2 punch with David Ojabo getting a sack and Chris Hinton picking up the fumble. When you could put pressure on a quarterback like that, when you can create turnovers, and they were only rushing 4, that is huge, because when you can rush 4, you drop 7, the quarterback's under duress, and he has absolutely nowhere to go with the ball.
They call it team victory. You win offense, you win defense, you win special teams. That's what Michigan did on the road against Wisconsin. Let's go into the locker room now with Ed Kenkerski. He talked to some of the victorious Wolverines.
Michigan hadn't won in Wisconsin in 20 years, a long, painful 0-5 stretch, and Jim Harbaugh was 0-10 as an underdog with the Wolverines. Both of those streaks came to a screeching halt on Saturday on a hot, sticky day in downtown Madison.
It's been too long since we've won at this stadium. A lot of the guys on this team were here 2 years ago when we got embarrassed, and I think, we took that to heart. and we responded, and we played a great game, especially the second half.
Coming into another program's building and beating them up, punching them in the mouth as a man, it's a great feeling.
We emphasize details, you know what I'm saying? The run fits in our pass rush lanes, details. And we said if we come in and execute, they have no chance with us. And like I said, you see what we did. We executed, and there you go.
We know we can do it by air or by land. You know, the Harbaughism he said a couple weeks ago. And today we just went by air. We pounded them, and we threw it over their head. And, you know, we're very excited where we're at, but we're not complacent. We have a lot to do. We have a lot to grow. And, you know, passing in was electric today. We loved it.
Up next, John Jansen chats with head coach Jim Harbaugh as Inside Michigan football continues from Madison, Wisconsin. I'm Ed Kongursky.
Here comes Mertz, back to throw. It's sack time! David Ajabo all the way back to the 15-yard line. A loss of 8 on the play, and the Badgers 3 and out again, and their offensive total into the negative territory.
I'll be lying if I told you I was surprised because, again, this is how much confidence we have as a defense, and we don't want to do too much talking this year, man. It's on us to just go out, silence violence, take care of business, go back home.
Great game plan, and we really came into it swinging as hard as we could, and we kept swinging as hard as we could the entire game. We never let up. We never looked around. We just kept coming, and, you know, feels great.
If we want to go where we want to go, we have to be a good road team. And I think, you know, this was the first time, we had a little adversity in the first half, but we dealt with it, and we moved on, and, you know, 5-0 is great.
The season doesn't really start until you hit the road, so that's a good thing that we was able to do. We was able to come together as brothers. You know, going out there, we're seeing a lot of red out there, man, but in this building, locker room right here, in this little corner we have, it's all blue. So that's what we was looking at today.
Today's conversation with Jim Harbaugh is brought to you by Meijer, official sponsor of Michigan Athletics and proud sponsors of local sports teams across the Midwest.
Big win on the road. How did it feel to get a win in front of an enemy territory?
Great feeling. Great team victory. I thought all phases. Defense was lights out. 6 or 7 3-and-outs, 3 turnovers, 6 or 7 sacks. Offense equally as productive. Through the air for around over 200 yards passing, over 100 yards rushing. Special teams thought was outstanding as well. Stole us a turnover. Stole a possession for us on a turnover early. I thought it was just really good, solid football against a really good team.
And the question coming in was, could you throw it when you needed to? And Cade McNamara and J.J. McCarthy at the end were able to do that. Your analysis early on of what you saw from the quarterback position.
Yeah, I thought just the rhythm of the entire offense. Tough defense to move the ball against. As the numbers show, but we were effective, especially on the fourth downs. Kept some drives alive and went for, I think, 5 fourth downs and got 4 of them. Our guys were determined. I could just feel that they weren't going to be denied.
In the second half, you guys came out 3 and out, then you go for a touchdown drive. How important was it to come out and set the tone like that in the second half?
Yeah, I think it was really big. We started off the game getting the first touchdown, and then started the second half getting the 3 and out, and then offense produced the first touchdown.
And then obviously we saw that you sprinkled in J.J. McCarthy. What's the thought process of using both quarterbacks?
Yeah, we had some things designed for J.J. Didn't quite get the looks that we were hoping for, but and then I thought he acquitted himself really good. Cade, Cade's just such a scrapper, and he's so talented, and came through in clutch situations again. Took a big hit, and still produced about 230 yards of passing after that. So I thought he really showed a lot of moxie.
And then the pressure by the defense. At times it was, rushing with 4. Sometimes it was bringing an extra guy. Dax Hill got in on the action. How important was it, or what was the factor in regards to being able to put so much pressure on their quarterback?
I think the blitz tempo that we had, we were coming from all angles. As you mentioned, Dax got a big hit early in the game. Aiden applied pressure. A lot of guys were in there applying pressure up the middle too. Chris Hinton, Mozzie Smith, were pushing the pocket as well. But I thought our guys did a great job. Played really physical brand of football today against a team that's known as a physical football team.
A lot of energy on the sidelines. They played the jump around. Michigan was jumping around going crazy. What's different this year about the energy you're seeing from the players and from the staff than you've seen before?
I think they've are confident, more confident. They put in a lot of work. It's been a great vibe with the team. Been talking about that for a while. Great bunch to be around, and it's different. And we'll move on from this with humble hearts, but happy, and it'll be a happy flight home.
Yeah, it will be. Thanks a lot, Coach.
Thank you.
Time now for our Al Rose Steel Man of the Week. Here's Ed Kengerski.
Now in his third season as a Wolverine, Christopher Hinton feels it's his time to shine and become an impact player, a leader and trusted presence on the Michigan defense.
I'm for sure ready to blossom this all season. I mean, I'm happy that I finally got like a full winter cycle, a real summer cycle. Really just excited to go play on Saturday because I feel stronger and faster, and I'm just ready to show that on the field.
His backstory is one of a true blue blood. Christopher's mother, Maya, was a star basketball player.
My mom was an elite basketball player. She won actually Miss Minnesota basketball in high school. Went on to play basketball at Northwestern.
His dad, Chris, was a first-team All-American at Northwestern, a first-round NFL draft pick, and a 7-time Pro Bowl offensive lineman during a 13-year career. We spoke with him via Zoom and asked what it's like watching his son battle in the trenches.
The fact that I played on the other side on the offensive line, I can give him an idea of what an offensive lineman is thinking, and so it's been helpful. And he's been like a sponge, and he's willing to listen and listen to Coach Dad every once in a while.
The elder Hinton says post-game conversations aren't quite what you'd probably expect.
You'll be surprised. A lot of it's so what you want me to cook, what you want me to put on the grill. I mean, I think we spend more time discussing dinner that night than football, but we do touch a little bit on it. I try to be dad and not coach dad too much. They get enough of that over at Shim.
A proud dad for sure, and Christopher, whose 6'7", 330-pound brother Miles is also a D1 college player, embraces the family's rich athletic heritage.
I'm proud to be a Hinton because that name carries a lot of weight. Even with my brother doing his thing over there at Stanford, I'm really just proud to be a Hinton and to be doing what I'm doing, especially at the University of Michigan, and I'm really happy about that.
Hinton's career has been a long, steady progression, and the more he learns, he plays with more confidence and more freedom. And a confident defensive lineman is certainly a dangerous one. For Inside Michigan Football, I'm Ed Kengerski.
For the second time in my broadcast career, I was able to get to Madison, Wisconsin via Lake Michigan as I took the car ferry, the Lake Express, from Muskegon to Milwaukee and then on into Madison. We got a win. We avoided Chicago traffic. Tony Butler, my radio engineer, got a pizza on the boat. I got a turkey sandwich. You can't beat that. It was a win-win all the way. Well, as we get ready to close things out from Camp Randall in Wisconsin, this was my last trip to Camp Randall, and I'll miss coming back to Wisconsin. One, for the bratwursts. Mm-hmm. The Essen House is a great place to eat. And two, this is one of the most unique third quarter events. It's called Jump Around. The actual student section jumps up and down to this music, and the press box literally sways. It's an amazing place, isn't it?
It is, and there's great energy. That's what's great about college football, especially the Big Ten. You have traditions like that carry over, and it's just fun to be a part of. It's fun to witness. It's a beautiful campus, but it's also good to leave with a win.
It is good to leave with a win. Let's hope Michigan leaves Nebraska and Lincoln next week with a win. We'll have it all next week right here on Inside Michigan Football. Inside Michigan Football is brought to you in part by Meijer, official sponsor of Michigan Athletics and proud sponsors of local sports teams across the Midwest. And by Gardner White, Detroit's #1 furniture and mattress store.